Each year in the United States, 70 to 80,000 workplaces experience a serious fire. On average, an estimated 200 employees are killed by fire-related incidents a year, with an estimated 5,000 employees sustaining fire-related injuries. Fires in the workplace result in over $2 billion in property damage and loss. Recent studies reveal that only 15% of workplace fires are a result of catastrophic failure of equipment. This leaves a staggering 85% of accidental fires started due to human error and behavior. By being proactive and having a simple fire prevention plan and program in your workplace, you can greatly reduce the risks of having a fire in your place of employment. In addition, with a simple emergency plan as well as proper detection and fire extinguishers, you can greatly reduce the chances of injury or serious loss should a fire occur. This program will cover how fire works, preventing fires, classes of fires, preparing for a fire emergency, and the proper procedure to follow during a fire emergency. Fire is a chemical reaction between the three elements of heat, fuel, and oxygen. A fire will continue to burn as long as these three elements are present. It can only be extinguished when one of three things occur: the oxygen is depleted, the heat is removed, or the fuel is consumed. Fires start with heat, which serves as a source of ignition. Heat can be generated by several things, including open flames, static electricity, faulty electrical circuits, unshielded hot surfaces, friction, and chemical reactions. Fuels can include combustible solids like paper, wood, and some metals, and flammable liquids and gases. Although employers are only required to have a fire prevention plan when the applicable OSHA standard requires it, OSHA strongly recommends that all employers have a fire prevention plan. Guidelines for a fire protection plan are found in OSHA 29 CFR 1910.39. This plan must be made available to all employees in writing if there are 11 or more people employed at your workplace. If there are fewer than 11 employees, your employer may choose to discuss the company fire prevention plan with you verbally. Some common causes of workplace fires include electrical neglect and misuse of wiring and electrical appliances, especially with the operation of space heaters. The use of certain chemicals in your workplace can result in the starting of a fire. These chemicals include gasoline, fuels, paints, solvents, and manufacturing chemicals. Always use these chemicals in well-ventilated areas and keep them away from heat and objects that can create sparks. Job sites that involve welding, torching, or other tasks that emit sparks are at a high risk of being involved in a workplace fire. A common and often overlooked area to be aware of for fire prevention is your company's housekeeping practices. The accumulation of garbage and the improper storage of flammable substances can cause a fire in work areas or storage rooms. And finally, the discarding of cigarettes or smoking in inappropriate areas can lead to the breakout of a fire in your workplace. There are 5 classes of fires you will need to know. By knowing the difference between these 5 classes of fires, it will help you determine which fire extinguisher you can use. The 5 classes of fires are broken down into Class A, Class B, Class C, Class D, and Class K. A Class A fire is the most common type of fire. It includes the burning of wood, paper, cloth, many types of plastics, and rubber. A Class B fire is a combustible fuel fire. This includes flammable liquids, oils, greases, gases, tars, and oil-based paints. A Class C fire involves energized electrical equipment. This type of fire cannot be put out with the use of water. Electrical shock can occur. A Class D fire is the burning of flammable metals, including sodium, titanium, magnesium, potassium, and lithium. Like a Class C fire, a Class D fire cannot be put out with water. Water can actually accelerate the fire. The last class of fire is a Class K fire. The Class K fire, or kitchen fire, is a subset of a Class B fire that involves cooking oils. Fire and/or smoke alarms should be installed in all areas of your workplace. They should be regularly checked for proper operation. All exits need to be properly identified and never blocked or locked. Fire doors, those designed to close during a fire to prevent spreading, should never be blocked open so as to prevent them from closing in case of a fire. Although employers are required to have an emergency action plan only when the applicable OSHA standard requires it, OSHA strongly recommends that all employers have an emergency action plan. OSHA guidelines for an emergency action plan can be found in OSHA 29 CFR 1910.38. As with the fire prevention plan, this plan should be made available to you in writing if there are 11 or more employees at your workplace. If there are less than 11 employees, your employer can choose to discuss the plan with you verbally. It is important to know what type of fire extinguisher to use on the proper class of fire. Water-based fire extinguishers are to be used on Class A fires only. This removes the heat of the fire. A regular dry chemical-based extinguisher can be used on Class B, C, and K fires. They are not used as much for Class K fires anymore with the advent of wet chemical extinguishers. A multi-purpose dry chemical extinguisher is effective on Class A, B, and C fires. Dry chemical extinguishers inhibit the chemical reaction of a fire. Wet chemical extinguishers were developed specifically for use on Class K fires and can also be used on Class A fires. They extinguish the fire by forming a soapy foam blanket over the burning oil and by cooling the oil below its ignition temperature. Some extinguishers are fitted with a misting nozzle, allowing them to also be used for Class B and C fires. Carbon dioxide-based extinguishers remove the oxygen from the fire and also remove heat with a cold discharge. They can be used on Class B and C fires. They are ineffective on Class A fires because the fire can continue to smolder and possibly reignite. Also, the high-pressure discharge can cause the burning materials to scatter with a Class A fire. Halogenated or clean agent-based extinguishers are to be used mainly on Class C fires, but can also be used on Class A and B fires as well. These types of extinguishers also remove the oxygen from the fire. Metal X extinguishers are to be used on Class D fires and contain sodium chloride salt and thermoplastic additive. Plastic melts to form an oxygen-excluding crust over the metal, and the salt dissipates heat. Foam extinguishers are for use on Class A and B fires only. There are different types of foam extinguishers, and you need to be aware of which type you are using and its proper use and limitations. When operating a fire extinguisher, it is best to remember the operating procedure as PASS. Pull the pin. Aim the extinguisher at the base of the fire. Squeeze the handle. And sweep from side to side. Your company should perform monthly inspections on its fire extinguishers. Be sure that all extinguishers are in the proper areas and are easily visible and accessible. It is important that you or someone within your workplace verifies that all extinguishers indicate the correct pressure for proper use. An annual professional inspection certified by your state's fire marshal needs to be completed. During this annual inspection, any maintenance needs to be completed according to the type and age of the extinguishers your company uses. During an emergency, remember the 4 A's. Activate the fire alarm and call 911. Assist others in exiting the building. Attempt to extinguish. Assemble in the predetermined location outside of the building. You should only attempt to extinguish a fire if it is small and contained, you are safe from toxic smoke, you have a means of escape, and your instincts tell you it is all right. Never put yourself in any danger. Fire extinguishers are only designed to fight small fires and have only a few seconds of discharge. It takes only seconds for a small flame to get out of control and turn into a major fire. Remember, time is the biggest enemy, and every second counts. When in doubt, you need to get out.